it is understandable that this is safer than laying out in the sun, and that's the extent that people go to.
We do know that ultraviolet A is required to set the stage for the ultraviolet B to then form skin cancer.
Most any time is time for a little fun in the sun. Regardless of the season, millions of Americans are obsessed with looking healthy with a tan. Psychologists tell us it's just a state of the mind, a bronzed body making one feel healthy. Whether it be the summer months here at home or the resort areas of the South and Southwest during the winter months, they will travel great distances to catch a few rays, ultraviolet rays that is, that unfortunately can cause skin cancer if one is overexposed. Hundreds of Western New Yorkers start working on that bronzed look long before summer, and it doesn't cost them a trip to the Sun Belt. They take up their pursuit of the copper tones here at home at several tanning clinics that have cropped up within recent years. Snuggling into a coffin-like booth equipped with long fluorescent-type lamps underneath and above one's body, one envisions a grilled cheese sandwich. However, in this case, the light source is ultraviolet A, or UVA, which according to the Food and Drug Administration and many dermatologists is not as dangerous as the ultraviolet B and C rays also given off by the sun. But they don't endorse the tanning process. One such tanning clinic in Kenmore is owned by Rob Lederman.
It started in Europe, in Frankfurt, Germany. That's where the Wolf system had started by a scientist named Frederick Wolf, who put ultraviolet A into a bulb, and I found out about it through several trips to Europe. This is 99.6% ultraviolet A, whereas the old tanning systems were 100% ultraviolet B, where you could go in for 1 or 2 minutes and you would turn red and that's it. This you can go in for 20 minutes and you don't burn.
The longest range ultraviolet, those known as ultraviolet A, and they are the ones that have recently come into prominence because of the ultraviolet parlors that use this part of the ultraviolet spectrum. They probably still cause aging. They probably also may, if not directly cause skin cancer, increase the tendency towards forming skin cancer, and they may have some even more serious side effects.
The dermatologist, a lot of people, the first person that they'll talk to is a dermatologist to find out the effect on their skin. And what I have seen is people that I know will say, as far as a dermatologist will say, yes, it's fine and it will clear up acne and it will help psoriasis, but I'm not going to send people to you because all they're going to do is endorse it and say, go here and you'll find that, you know, it will help you tremendously. And they come here and the doctor loses their clientele. So I think that has a lot to do with. We meet all the compliances of the Food and Drug Administration. We have 3 licenses through them, the timer, the bulbs, and the actual unit. They don't approve anything as far as an endorsement goes, but we meet all compliances with it.
The Federal Food and Drug Administration, which initially warned that sun lamps emitting UVA may not cause cancer but are suspect of aging the skin, has now proposed expanding its rules. In its latest release, the FDA says that, contrary to claims the ultraviolet A radiation used in tanning parlors is safe, there now is evidence that this type of radiation can lead to eye damage, skin cancer, and skin cell damage.
Nurses, doctors from Roswell, the head of the Burn Treatment Center, their nurses, and they all quietly endorse it and will tell people about it. But it's tough to say. They won't come out and endorse it and come on camera.
Well, it's interesting to note that that they're using the system and they don't fear it in any way.
Oh, no, they don't fear it at all. They know enough about it, and there's been enough information about it for them to know that it's safe. It's safer than laying out in the sun. As a matter of fact, some doctors believe that it will, in fact, reduce your chances of skin cancer as opposed to increase them.
Is there any scientific evidence, good or bad, concerning this process at the tanning clinic?
Well, we have data, again, based on the fact that the ultraviolet A will penetrate deeper than the ultraviolet B or the ultraviolet C, which fortunately does not pose a problem at this moment because it's filtered out by the atmosphere. But between ultraviolet B and ultraviolet A, we do know that ultraviolet A is required to set the stage for the ultraviolet B to then form skin cancer.
The argument against that is we give people a dot that they go in the first time, they put it on their stomach for 10 minutes. And what happens is that little piece of paper will filter out the ultraviolet A, therefore they'll be left with a white mark. So the argument is if a piece of paper will stop it, then your first layer of skin will stop that, and it won't go down deep enough into your skin to destroy the elasticity in your skin.
I have patients come into this office and they say, look, I burn very easily, and I've got to go to Florida because my girlfriend insists that we go. So what I want to do is I'm going to go to one of these ultraviolet A parlors, and I'll get myself a tan, and then I'm not going to burn and get fried to a crisp once I get down to the beach in Florida. Well, that's an erroneous hope. Because number one, the tan that you get from ultraviolet A is not going to protect you against the one that you're going to get from the sun or from ultraviolet B. You see, you're still going to fry.
Will that additional sun on top of this treatment hurt me in any way?
No, you won't. What this will do, it'll build up a base so that when you're out in the sun, you won't burn, and you won't peel, which is a big part of it. That's why a lot of people come in before they go out in the sun. So they're getting a good base before they peel. We
don't really have the final analysis of what ultraviolet A does to the skin and to the tissues beneath it. I can visualize that 10 years from now, when the people who are going to analyze those data are going to lick their chops and say, isn't it nice to have had these millions of human guinea pigs who voluntarily walked into it to make our life so easy to say that this is what happens and that is what happens and that is what happens, good or bad. And maybe nothing will happen.